Hello and welcome back to another merchandise review from White Album 2. So today we're going to be reading a little pamphlet, I guess you would call it, because it's not quite long enough to be a book. This was actually given out as an extra at Comiket. This was the 2016 Comiket, which is the comic convention in Japan. So, taking a look here, we have buchake. Buchake is to speak bluntly, or to really speak your mind in a almost crude manner. Just very, very honestly. White Album 2, and then Symposium. So kind of a round table, honest discussion is what this is. Now this pamphlet, and it is very short, it's just a few pages long, came from Comiket if you were to buy the Touma Kazusa set, which came with a tapestry and some keychains. You would also get this little book as an extra. So let's see what it's all about. Now coming right in, the paper is pretty cheap. This is, speaking honestly, because buchake, speaking honestly for me, it's not a very high quality item. The pages just kind of feel like that standard printer paper, but tinted blue. Now, what this is, it's an interview, not really interview, but more like a discussion between the three, MVPs of White Album 2. So we have Naoya Shimokawa. He was the producer of White Album 2. We have Fumiaki Maruto. He is the scenario writer. He worked a lot on the anime. He's also a director. And then lastly, Nakamura Takeshi, and he was in charge of the art design. He was also a director. So three of the most important, you could say, people as far as producing White Album 2 goes. This is their discussion of all things. Now, what's funny is the little description underneath, Shimokawa says that he is the best. He is the number one over at Aquaplus. But then over here, under Nakamura, it says that he is the number one alcoholic. So, and not alcoholic in quite a negative term, but like alcohol lover. So, it's kind of funny how they put it that way. And then Maruto just gets a normal... like who he is. He worked on the anime, he does the directing. But these two were both in a little bit of satire there. I guess that's what they mean by honesty. They want us to see really who they are as people and as directors, which keeps it interesting. So the format of this, if you can see the kanji there on the left, it just shows each person's name, and it just writes out the discussion that they had with one another. So this isn't a written thing that they wrote. This was actually just a written log of a discussion that they had between the three of them. The contents are pretty much just talking about release of White Album 2. They do talk a lot about the 20th anniversary. It was a convention for the 20th anniversary of White Album 2, which was 2020. So that's pretty recent. And they were just talking about how cool it is and the fandom in general. And they go on just to kind of talk about the different types of merchandise, the different types of kind of news for White Album at the time. So they do talk about a concert that was held in Tokyo and their opinions on that. They don't give a whole lot of behind the scenes information like some of the White Album 2 merchandise does. This is really just them being like, oh, did you hear about that concert? Oh, did you hear about that convention? And kind of going on like that. So content-wise, yeah, you can tell it's an extra. This isn't a piece all on its own. It really is just a little bonus. But it is neat to have and add to the collection. So they move on. They talk a little bit about their favorite girls and about what the fandom kind of thinks as the favorite. Maruto talks specifically how he wanted the Kazusa and Setsuna to be 50-50 as far as the fandoms goes. That's how he wanted to write the story. He does mention that Kazusa ended up being a teeny bit more popular. It was 50-50, but then as the game went on, yeah, people started really liking Kazusa, so he felt like he lost that battle, as he put it. But to be fair, each girl does have a ton of fans, so I do think he did a very good job with that. And then it just comes to the end, so it's really just a recording of these three guys kind of having a little chat. And so then we have White Album 2. This book was released in 2016, so this actually occurred slightly before the 20-year anniversary, which was 2020. And this book actually came out this same weekend. So it was released, comiket usually goes from the 29th to the 31st. So this came out that same day. And then credit to Aquaplus, aquaplus.jp. And that is all for this little extra little pamphlet. I guess you could call it a mini book. It's very short, not a whole lot of extra content, but if you like, like hearing the director's thoughts, like director's cuts from movies, things like that, definitely interesting to kind of see what kind of people they are behind the scenes. So, thank you so much for joining me on this merch review from White Album 2, and I will be back with more merch reviews in the future. So I hope to see you there, and until then, take care.